storm on the other side of the city walls.
See,
Not a
and
reassuring sound.
okay, like I was gonna save it for a video, but this is like the biggest problem I have with Genshin's writing. And honestly, a lot of it, 80% of it, has to do with Paimon. I don't mind Paimon as a character. It's just that when they go more serious, Paimon does not go along with it. It's kind of like they'd be like, "Oh man, this is what happens when discriminations happens between, you know, the whatever." Like, say it was the what's the name of the people in Sumeru in the forest? What's the difference name? The Emirites and the people of the rainforest. They're like, "Oh man, the discrimination between those who live in the Emirites and people in the rainforest. The Emirites have to do dirty work and, you know, weird jobs and things that are just not appropriate, and it just really sucks. And they're having a nice life, but they could have a nicer life if we just accepted them for more than just being little servant people, guards." And then Paimon would be like, "They're such jerks! I hate those people! Why can't they just learn how to be normal?" And it's like, thank you, Paimon, for stating what we're all thinking in our hearts. But it's just like, sometimes it just gets, in Genshin, she does that so much. It's like, she reiterates it into a child level. Like, it's like, okay, I can't believe that the Shogun, we still love the Shogun, but I still don't approve of what she did. She's such an asshole. And but you know what? She's the leader of our country. And you know what? She is our god, and she was just mistaken, and we were able to change the thought of a god. Well, if I was you, I would never forgive her. Look how many people she killed. I'm like, thanks, Paimon. That's what we're like. She says what we're all thinking, but she says it in the most annoying,
obnoxious way.
Yeah, and it's like, and then the Rising Shogun be right there. Look at her, she's so ugly. I'm going to call you an ugly nickname. And the Rising Shogun's like, I'm going to absolutely eviscerate you. Oh, traveler, help! I'm scared. It's like, oh my, it's like the same thing, and it's like, oh man, it's like, I was just kidding, Paimon. I'm not going to kill you. And it's like, oh man, I was so scared. It got me hungry again. It's like, oh, that cycle goes on and on. That's 80% of the problem with the story. Paimon just does not have a filter a lot of times.
Turn out in full force. The guards will do their best to stop.
I need a cough drop. I'll be right back.
But yeah, Paimon is just, Paimon would be a good character. Like, she's good, especially in Sumeru's story. I think she's a little bit better, but like, there's times in like people's personal stories, she just holds grudges. She's like goofy in situations she shouldn't be goofy in, because I don't know if they know how to write her. It's almost like she's concerned to be concerned. But then there's other times where they write her well, but I would say like 60+% of the time, Paimon is not good, does not match the tone of the scenes that you're in. The other 20 to 30% is literally them not, like, they beat some things to death, and then they don't explain some things, and they go too complicated with some things, and then the simple things they beat to death. That's my biggest problem with Genshin's narrative in general. Simple things are beaten to death. Complicated things aren't explained well enough. And they are until way later. And then Paimon, in between all that, makes it so hard to talk, because she just puts in an extra dialogue that doesn't matter in between all that complication. So I would still like Genshin's ideas, but the way it's executed sometimes can be very frustrating and or boring and or annoying. I would say about 60 to 70% of Genshin's story is good. There's another 30% in between, like the big stellar moments. It's like it has high highs and low lows. That's what I have to say. And I'm going to say that, and probably if I make my video about Genshin's story, that's like the main thing. It has high highs and low lows. High highs, low lows. It gets super quiet, and it just goes bombastic and loud, and it goes back to being super quiet. And actually, one last thing, while I'm talking about it, NPCs, they need to start using their characters, especially if they have so many characters. They need to start using their main characters a little bit more, because they have all these beautiful characters, but they stick with NPCs a little too much, especially when there's perfectly good characters that would be fit for that situation they're in. They really need to add other characters in some of their side quests, especially when it's like, oh, let's talk about Sino. What would Sino say? I just talked to Sino. It's like, why don't you just have Sino there and explain himself? What? I mean, it probably costs extra money, but it's Genshin. Just have Sino there explain himself. They don't have to say, like, I talked to Sino, the NPC talked to Sino, and he said... it annoys me a lot. Don't have NPCs talk for characters that are main characters. And don't replace NPCs where there should be main characters in the story with, you know, with other characters in their side stories or in the main story. Please don't do that, because that's very annoying with Genshin. But that's all I gotta say. This game's doing a good job, but I haven't done a side story. The side stories are kind of like Genshin's, but they do have like Natasha's and Hook's story. So there's some. They have improved a lot in this game compared to Genshin. I hope Genshin catches up to this in the next patch. But that is the end of it. I don't want to go on and on about that.
Once you've broken through the front line, there's nothing more we can do for you. You'll have to find out for yourselves what lies within the northern fragment. So, have you made up?
March over there had that gremlin smile.
Understood. Keep your weapons close. This will be a fierce fight. Guards, open the gate.
Huh, you know what my theory is going to be?
Hmm?
My theory is going to be that the main character... Oh my god, they